YouTube, how you going? Just thought I'd do another video on my next modified Xbox controller from the first one that I did. If you haven't, I'll put a description in the channel below to go have a look at it. It was a very rough start guide to it, and now I've made some modifications onto this one, which is the same controller, but the white one that I had actually had an error with the batteries. And as soon as I put the batteries in, if they were full overnight, it would just go dead, no charge, and then it suddenly just died, so I had to replace it. So I took half the bits out of that one and got with a black one and sort of modified it to make it a bit of a different type of colours. Now going into what I've modified, as I said in the last video, I play Destiny. That's normally the only game that I do play. And with the actual Sparrow that we drive around on, ride around on, and then also aiming, I've still got this button for aiming, which is standard one, but my firing one I've now modified what I had before with a little bit here, cap, and the little bit on top, but I've used a knife to cut this off. And what I've done, I've just got a Lego piece with a nice little ball here with this connection that screws, that pushes into there and then goes into this connection here when I can get it in like that. So it gives me a bit more of a feel for a trigger, so it still has to push down all the way, but it is a lot more comfortable on the finger because you've got a nice curved round shape here, and I'm finding it is easier to do shooting. The next ones that I've done are these buttons here, which there's lots of videos that you can see that have been done with it. These bits of Lego caps and Lego studs, but I've actually glued them on the same as all these gluing. I've used a high strength clear glue that actually melts the plastic to one another, so it's never going to come off, and do it as much, try to move it as hard as I can and it won't move. So on this one, of course, for the A is the jumping, and the Y is the weapon select, B is the cancel, but because of my thumbstick of how big it is, I've had to make it smaller up to bigger. So this one's only got one stud on it, and the blue one's only got one stud, and I couldn't find another green one, so I used a grey one for that. And then on the red ones I've got two studs, 1 and 2, and then I've got the flat one on the top here. And then on the orange one I've got 2 more studs as well, but then I've got this nice black little ball, the same as the red one that I had on the trigger, and I'll put that on there. It makes it a bit prouder than all the rest, but it's good in a way while playing to quickly change weapons between primary, secondary and heavy. It doesn't make a lot of difference in speed, but there's just that little bit of speed that I get by pushing the button because it's a lot closer to my thumb. The flatness of the Lego studs makes it easier on the fingers, and I like the more flat surface, a bit more positive that it can when you're actually pushing it and playing the game. The biggest thing was about these, my style of Kontrol Freek gear sticks. The last time I had a smaller cog with a bit of double-sided tape onto the curved section with the tyre over the top. These are the same tyres, but if I pull them off, I've now got the longer axle with a curve and fully glued onto the joystick. So as you see, it's never going to come off. Just a little cap in here to close off the end here, and then the rubber wheel will sit, just push it on over that, and then it sits there. So I have my larger control stick, which doesn't hamper, it only just hits these buttons here on the side, but it doesn't hamper gameplay at all. It will touch them slightly, as you can see there, and move them a bit, but it doesn't hamper the gameplay at all. It's the same with this one over here for the aiming and the shooting. Again, it's the same thing. If I take it off, it's the same thing that I've done here. Glued the actual thing on, glued the axle onto the control knob there, and then the wheel will go back on, and that way it's nice and secure like that. I used to play on a sensitivity of 5 or 6, and then I went to 8. Now I'm on 10. the highest sensitivity there is. I didn't think that these type of control sticks would do anything. They actually do increase your accuracy with it, with gaming. And I've noticed that I actually used to just do auto rifles, but now I'm getting back into hand cannons because of the more accuracy. So that's basically it. That's how I've modified it and changed it. The only other thing I should say is that the way I've also done it is that with the wheels that you take off, and I can take this stud and that stud off, and all the pieces can be removed from the shell and put into another shell or replaced or whatever. So I wanted to make sure that even though I've made it bulky and my own personal view and shape, I can still totally dismantle and put other parts in as such. That's it. Battery pack still the standard one, just with rechargeable batteries in it, leaving the white from the back. And yeah, that's basically it. Just going back to the other one that I did have, my white one that I did have on the first video. As I said, it really died inside, and I did have a trigger here on this side, but I really didn't want to change that over to the new one. One, because I wanted to keep a white and a black trigger, the black on this side and the white on this side, and also this wasn't giving much support or help for me at all, because it was just a push down for either aiming or for the thrust on the sparrows. So that's basically it. That's my old one. You can see the difference between them. Changed the control sticks, made it a bit with the buttons with the white and the black and the black and the white. So yeah, that's my Mark II, part 2 of my controller, if you like, the way I've done it. It works really well. It's never going to break off again. The double-sided tape on this one did want it to come off after a while, but now it's been totally secure, and it's been really good. So I hope you enjoyed the video. You can subscribe, comment or like down below. Anything will be appreciated, and I'll catch you next time. Thanks guys, bye.